Hello, guys. Good morning, good evening, wherever you're at. First off, I want to apologize if you hear any background noise. As soon as I can make some money off of donations or once I get monetized to YouTube, the very first thing I'm going to invest in is a noise canceling microphone. But as of this point, I'm just recording off of my laptop, and unfortunately, life has to continue. So I have 3 children. I have never-ending laundry. You may hear that in the background. But this morning I'm going to read How to Attract Love by Lori J. Brenner. So the website that I used to download this book said specifically not to leave a link to it, or else I would just give you guys this PDF for free. However, you can just search the title in Google and then free PDF and you will find it. But I'll go ahead and read it to you guys this morning. Okay, so how to attract love. Attract your heart's desire. 1. Manifesting. The law of attraction. Unless you've had your head buried in the sand since March of 2006 when the movie The Secret blasted into the world's consciousness, everyone's been talking about nothing else but the law of attraction since, and even more so with the recent low tide of the global economy. As of the creation of this ebook in May of 2009, more than 12.4 million copies of the book version of The Secret have been sold, and more than 3.4 million copies of the DVD have been sold. A whole lot more people have actually seen the movie than have bought the DVD, and it was also offered online for a one-time viewing before it was released onto DVD. At the end of 2007, it was also released as a feature film of the Spiritual Cinema Circle. I am sure that as of this writing, more than 20 million people has seen or heard about The Secret in some fashion or another, and that number grows every day. While many people watched the movie, some decided that its principles were easy to teach without having the time or an experience with its principles. Several folks instantly launched businesses under its banner. While some of these folks may have experienced instant success with its teachings, most of them thought it was something they could easily teach to others and make money from as well. Unfortunately, large number of these teachers have no clue of what the tenets of the law of attraction or spirituality really are. Regrettably, while many are good intentioned, oftentimes more harm than good comes from their misdirections. You follow their suggestions, things don't work out, and you end up saying the law of attraction doesn't work. The law of attraction does work. Obviously, it works in some fashion for you already. You wanted to find a way to make it work, and it attracted you to this free ebook telling you how. That's why I decided to write this ebook and give it away. 1. I needed to give back to something to you and others because I have been so blessed in my life. And 2. I am also using this as a tool to let you get to know me. Maybe you might want to read something else I've written. That's it, all of it. No hidden agenda, no hidden motives, everything up front. This is who I am. I don't believe in trying to scare or hypnotize people into buying or getting something they do not want or need. In the long run, that does not serve you or me. I began writing on these principles beginning in 1997. I posted to the internet on the now defunct The Mainstream site. Shortly thereafter, I also stated an ebook on the same topic, but set it aside when my husband and I began another journey. That of designing and building our dream home in the Sierra Nevada of California. That took all of our time for a long time. That original ebook began in 1998. Eventually became known as The Little Book of Becoming. Now a paperback on Amazon.com and in ebook form from my website www.littlebookofbecoming.com. While On My Own Shingle didn't hit the internet until 2007, I live in a rural area, and it took until late 2006 to get a satellite internet hookup installed. This has been on my agenda since before the internet. I've always had the desire to write and share what I've learned through life, as well as to write and entertain. I have been a student of this teaching, along with many others, since before a good many of you were born. The principles of the law of attraction can be found in many places, from Buddhist teachings to those of Christ and others. It's definitely not new, and it's definitely not a secret. My spiritual journey. I was born in the early 1950s, and by the mid to late 60s you would have called me a hippie. Yep, I was one of the tree-hugging, peace and love types. In fact, that part of me hasn't changed, but the journey I took from there to here has undergone many transformations and followed many winding roads. By the time I was 18, I was born again, died in the wool baptized, and the Spirit speaking in tongues channeling Christian, oftentimes living on faith that the Lord would provide, having no money and a young baby on the way, and provided He always did. By the time I was 24, the Christian clothes no longer fit me. Fed up with the hypocrisy of Christians who couldn't walk the talk if they tried, churches and religious dogma, I left the Christians, the church, and religion altogether. Christ taught one thing under and over everything else: unconditional love. Love does not condemn nor judge. I have yet to see a religion that does not condemn or judge, no matter what you tell me. The very act of attempting to convince me that I must be saved, must join your church, or pray the way you do, is saying one thing: I am not acceptable the way that I am. In my book, that is one huge load of horse manure. That stuff works well in the garden. That's the place for it. Since we are all the children of the divine, we are already perfect in our core being. Anyone that tells you different is trying to manipulate or control you. If you are harmful to anyone or anything, or you do criminal acts, it is not because you are inherently bad. It is because you are disconnected. It is a behavior issue. You can unconditionally love a human being while at the same time not like the way that they behave. Every parent knows this. Do you think that God the Almighty, whatever name you call him or her, feels less about you than any parent does about their child? Do you think this same God feels any less about any other divine child? No. We are all divine children, and these holy wars that claim God is on their side are full of hooey. Source is not on any one side, for God is all in all. Source is all sides. When I moved out of Christianity, I discovered that God that I knew went right out the door with me. I learned then that God, Source, isn't some great policeman in the sky ready to drag you into jail for not following the rules. I also learned that Source was a lot bigger than most folks know or understand. In fact, I learned that Source was in all things and was all things, including what many consider the dark side. Several books found me then, as books are wont to do. Jane Roberts' The Nature of Personal Reality, one of the many of what will become known as the Seth books. I've read most all of them and experienced their teachings. The Symbolic Quest by Edward Whitmont came highly recommended to help me dissect my Christian experience from the hidden treasure. I brought me to a greater understanding of archetypes and symbols than I previously learned about in Carl C. Jung's writings. I also learned the reason Western religions had created the creature called the devil, and did my own biblical research on this topic. The devil made me do it is no excuse. The devil is a creation of the Western religion and doesn't exist at all in Judaism. I learned that for every occurrence of the word devil in the Bible, both in the New and Old Testaments, when translated back to the original Aramaic, or Greek text, that these words do not refer at all to a being or a creature at all, but rather refers to the negative behavior of man, murder, lust, greed, etc. I did this study myself using Strong's Exhaustive Concordance, a tome bigger than the Webster's Dictionary. I needed to know it for myself. My head needed to know what my heart already did. As a writer, I am also an avid reader, and many more books found their gratuitous way into my hands throughout the years. In the late 70s to early 80s, I relearned that we all create our own experiences through our beliefs, thoughts, and emotions. This resonated with me, so I decided to put these practices to test in my own life, albeit naively, and suffered some of the most grievous lessons I wouldn't wish on my worst enemies as a result. My first conscious act of creation occurred in 1979-1980. I had tremendous results, but years later, I would come to understand that it is very important to be clear about what you desire and get clear of your subliminal and subconscious issues. Yes, I had results, and for the most part, the majority of them positive. But without the thorough understanding of the principles I worked with, I created some huge disasters as well. The laws of the universe are powerful indeed, and like a child who had discovered the power of electricity without knowing its ability to maim and kill, I zapped myself more than once. Unfortunately, some of the nearest and dearest to me got caught in the maelstrom that ensued. However, I have no regrets because without these experiences, I would not be able to share with you what I know from experience. I would not be able to tell you how to avoid the pitfalls. What I put down on these pages is not something I read somewhere and spit back upon the page. I am sharing with you wisdom and knowledge that is as priceless gem, the pearl of great price. It comes direct from my heart and life to yours. Use it wisely, and it will treat you well in all the days of your life. What about manifesting money? While I know that I create by experience and manifest what is in my heart, I don't feel qualified to tell you how you can bring a whole lot of money into your life at this juncture. For me, this is one of the last pieces of my manifested puzzle, and I am an avid student of others for their lessons. But if manifestation works, why don't you just whip up $1 million right now, you might ask. Manifesting money is something that is easier for some and harder for others. For me, in the past, it has been hard. Don't get me wrong, my financial needs have always been met. Sometimes, though, I felt like that snail on the edge of a razor blade. Previously, that is, how it has been for me, hand to mouth. This is the last pillar in my life to get resurrected, and a great big thank you goes out to the universe as I make continual progress. In fact, in the last 2 weeks, as I write this, I have had some huge breakthroughs in this area. When this is fully cooked and able to be served up, I will share with you what I have learned. However, I don't feel qualified enough to teach it yet, primarily because it is still an unfolding thing. It would be like digging up a seed pod to see if it's germinated and taking root. Everything is in its own time. I do feel qualified to teach other forms of manifestation, things with which I've experienced tremendous success. With these principles, I've been able to manifest jobs, the love of my life, my dream car, a Sierra Nevada mountain land, a dream house, clothes, books, artwork, furniture, computers, kitchen appliances, washers, dryers, trips, concerts, experiences that I've needed to help me to get to the next step, teachers, friends, food, and many cups of coffee. In fact, I manifested so many things over the years, I've actually forgotten most of them. My list only goes back over 36 years. I've been manifesting things since my early days in Christendom. Then we called it faith. In truth, faith is a huge part of the progress. Even still, if you can manifest all these things, why not money? For me, money had previously been harder to manifest. It's because of all the garbage I had associated with it with. I've come to understand that money represents and is tied to, among other things, our early childhood relationships, primarily with our guardians, parents, grandparents, etc., and since my childhood was tumultuous, there had been issues associated with money and relationships. Thankfully, they're all becoming non-issues through the releasing of the energy and light work that I am doing. Frankly, I feel there are plenty of others that are more qualified to help you than these invowers, and a few of them that I've listed below. Bob Doyle, Wealth Beyond Reason, David and Kristen Morelli, The Prosperity Tribe, Bob Proctor, 6 Minutes to Success, Tom and Penelope Pauly, Get the Money, David Cameron, Happy Pocket Full of Money, Dean Garris, Money and Manifesting, Joe Vitale, The Missing Secret, Jack Canfield, The Aladdin Factor. So what is this law of attraction? The law of attraction is an unchangeable, unbreakable law of the universe. In its basic form, it means the following. For every event, there is a cause. In the cause creates or attracts the event. Nothing is random in the universe. Events, circumstances, people, places, and things, everything comes into your life because you attracted it. For every resilient effect in your life, be it a person, place, emotion, or thing, you are the cause. A lot of folks define it as like attracts like, in a way that's partly true, but mostly not. Everything in the universe is comprised of energy. There is nothing solid. Solidity is an illusion. Things appear solid because we are conditioned to see them that way. What everything is comprised of is energy. In fact, we are energy. Seers, physics, mediums, shamans, and folks of these disciplines can see this energy and its fields. Many of them see the patterns that energy has left behind. Still, others sense it. Sense it or feel it. Even others may hear it. Everything is made up of energy and has a unique signature or resonance. The signature is its vibration or frequency wave. All things vibrate at different rates of frequency or speed. There was a commercial many years ago made by Memorex, a company that produced the tape that went into cassette tape players. This is before the digital age. Memorex used this commercial to prove that their tape was as good as the real life by having Ella Fitzgerald sing a high note and break a crystal glass while they recorded it. When they replayed the tape, allegedly the same thing happened. The crystal glass broke when the recorded version she sang hit that resonant note. More recently, Mythbusters tested this theory by having rock musician Jamie Vendersa break glass with his voice. You can watch it here at youtube.com/watch_V=JA2JESGIXXU. I'm going to leave this on the video. You can go download this book. That's just look up the book and then go download it. You'll have all this information. What is happening is a resonant frequency of sound or vibration causes the particles in the glass to start jumping around until they smash into each other and break. But it takes a certain note, a note that vibrates with the resonant frequency of the glass. It gets the glass particles to move. This is the same with the law of attraction, only you're not breaking glass. You're attracting your experiences to you. You get the particles of your desire moving towards you to form what you desire in your life. Your thoughts, married to your emotions, send out a resonating frequency into the universe, which in turn attracts back to you people, places, events, circumstances, emotions, or things that match to your vibration or frequency. Imagine it like the echo of your voice when you speak aloud in a canyon or a large empty room. In C.S. Lewis' Chronicles of Narnia, the magician's nephew, Aslan, is portrayed as the creator of Narnia, and he is also symbolic for the Christ figure. He creates Narnia by singing it into existence. I've always liked this idea because in a way, you sing into existence your reality by your vibration. You sing or co-create experience into your life. So, when they say, like attracts like, they are partially correct in that the universe will bring a match to your resonating vibration. For a simple example, You're waiting at the stoplight in your car to climb onto the freeway going home from work. It's been a bad day. Your boss yelled at you, and you're simmering in your own juices. You're frustrated, damn it. You're angry. Wham! You make it up on the ramp and slam right into a traffic jam where you really start to boil over. Your married thought and emotion have sent you out a signal to the universe. The more powerful the emotion and clear the channel, the quicker the manifestation. Or how about a day when you're feeling good? You drive into work and miraculously you come across green lights all the way onto the freeway, and then it's a smooth ride from there. It works all ways, good and bad, positive and negative, yin and yang. Be lighthearted and learn to play. Don't think it's true. Make the lights change to green, but do it with a light heart and play. If you make it too serious, it won't work because your vibration is not aligned with it. When you're trying to do something, you're actually pushing or resisting it. More than likely, you're in a prove it to me mood. Underneath, you're saying, I don't really believe it. Or you simply aren't open enough to letting it be true. If you've got blocks up, that's what you'll get, blocks. The universe always gives you what you ask for. Your vibration is the asking. You don't even have to use words. But you didn't know that. You can think it, believe it, emote it, and it will come to you without you ever saying a thing. Your thoughts are transmuted into chemical signals, which are ultimately broadcast throughout your body. This sets up a resonating feeling in the body that gets translated by your belief system into an emotion. The thought married to the emotion is what creates the feeling that is sent out through your heart chakra. It's kind of like a double play. This feeling is there as a result of thought and emotion marrying, but your beliefs act as a filter of the energy and may shut it down before it has come a chance to work. Physical feelings aren't always tied to the same emotion. You can have a knot in the stomach and it can mean different things. It can be translated into butterflies when you are in joyful anticipation or love. It can also be translated into fear or worry. Your definition or interpretation of what you are feeling is what emotion becomes. You are the creator. Learn to tell yourself a different story. When you have feelings that are negotiable, it is a signal to think different thoughts. As you do this more and more, it becomes easier to translate your emotions into positive feelings. Learn to clear your energy field of those things that block your energy. Why must I think different thoughts? Because whatever you are focused on with emotion will come to you. Period. And that means if all you can focus on is the trouble in your life, if all you can focus on is the fact that you aren't with the person you love, that's exactly what you get more of in your life. Being alone, or worse yet, being with someone who abuses you. This is one of the main reasons why people don't believe in the law of attraction. They think that because they are getting exactly what they don't want, that the law doesn't work. The funny thing of it is, they are getting exactly what they focus on, what they don't want. The law is always working, always. Regardless of what is showing up in your life, it is there because something you have asked for it, consciously or unconsciously. It means you have to start paying attention to what you're thinking and feeling. All of these years you've been running along on autopilot. Is that what you want? If so, then put the book down. If you don't need to read any further. Using the law of attraction in your life takes work, but not always the physical kind. It takes awareness, it takes consciousness, it takes paying attention. After watching The Secret, many people think that all you have to do is sit around and fantasize all day long about what you want. But if you don't get off the couch, you potato head, how can you answer the door? The universe will deliver, but to receive requires action on your part of some sort. It is a stick with two ends, what you want and what you don't want. As you well know, we live here on planet Earth. In this realm of existence, on this plane of reality, every subject is really two subjects, the positive and the negative, or in different phrasing, what you want and what you don't want. Everything comes in pairs, positive and negative, yin and yang, male and female, dark and light, black and white. Without this contrast, you would not be able to see. Everything would appear the same. It is because of this contrast that this seemingly physical reality gets created. In order to understand the law of attraction, you must understand that if you desire something, obviously you don't desire its opposite, correct? Some contrast in your life The application of some negativity in your life caused a desire for its opposite to grow in you. This is how we create. So your thought, married to emotion, is pregnant, heavy with feeling. This is the desire that summons up to requests of the universe. But if you stay focused on the negative that caused your desire, you stay focused on the lack of your desire, then that is what you will experience, the lack of it. Time enough for imagination. This is why you must imagine your desire. Taste it, touch it, feel it within, experience what it feels like as if it were real in your life. If you took 5 minutes a day, sat down in your chair, and immersed yourself in the imagination, the creative visualization, the experience of feeling love in your life, releasing the sweetness of it, experiencing in your heart center, then let it go. It will show up in your life. If, however, you focus on the lack of love in your life the rest of the day, well, what do you think will show up? To achieve your desires, your focused attention must be on what you want more than what you don't want. You need to tip the scales. A lot of people mistake focusing on what they don't want have as focusing on what they do want. This is why they think the law of attraction does not work. The subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between reality and imagination. If you're imagining something to be true, or if you experience something to be true in the mind of the subconscious, it is true. There are many ways to manifest. This is just one of them. But you must remember that manifestation involves two things, the having it and the not having it. What part of it shows up in your life is where you focus burns like a laser. So you see, you are always receiving what you desire. The universe always says yes, but giving what you want to focus upon. The positive and the negative frames. I am also an artist, someone who paints and draws. One of the most important things in drawing and painting is the use of negative space to frame the positive space. Did you know that everyone can draw or can be taught to draw? It is a simple thing. What? You say you can't draw? If I were to spend 30 minutes with you in a class, I could teach you to draw. It's all about tapping into the right side of your brain, your creative side. In fact, if we spent more time in the right brain, we'd experience quicker manifestations. The right side of our brain is our creative side. The left is our analytical and logical side. Dr. Jill Bolt Taylor, a neuroanatomist, someone who is involved in studying the anatomical organization of the brain, got to experience the value of the left and right brain functions after experiencing a stroke in 1996. While the stroke was happening, she remembers saying to herself, greatly paraphrased, "This is too cool. I get to study a stroke from the inside." Wow. There's a YouTube link in this video if you go find this book. Wasn't that fascinating? It's obviously there is much more to be learned about our physical anatomy and how well it ties in with our spiritual self. There are many areas in science that are unfolding in this manner, and it is becoming quite clear that there is more to us than just the particles that make up our bodies. There is more to us that can be seen. To give you a visual idea of how the left and right sides of our brain function, Jay Parks created this picture that clearly portrays the difference between the right and left hemispheres of your brain. In psychology, the right brain is considered the creative or feminine side, and the left brain the masculine or the linear, analytical or logical side. As you can see, this is a pretty simple view of right and left brain. Both are needed to function in this world, but people who have experienced reduced function in one side of the brain or another, their brain miraculously rewires itself and provides the solution in another way. In this picture, you may visualize, appreciate tapping into the right side. The left hemisphere is very linear boxes and desks and lines. As an accountant in my day job, that's me over there on the left side of the brain, putting numbers into boxes. When I do reports in Excel, I always pretty them up with the borders and shading and color, and that is the right hemisphere. We need both sides of our brain to function. And truly balanced person uses both sides. The left side of the brain equates to the masculine qualities, and the right side of the brain to the feminine qualities. Do you see the dark shadow line in the middle? That is the negative space. You notice how it defines the positive spaces? Do you notice how it allows you to define the difference between the two hemispheres? That is how the negative works in our lives. It works to define the positive. So next time you're experiencing something negative, recognize two things. You're focused on what you don't want. The negative space frames up the positive. Something great is coming. Embrace the positive that can grow into the negative space. What you want is there right now in your life. You just can't see it because you're focusing on the half of the stick that you don't want, the negative end. Flip the stick over and you will find what you want on the positive end. It is really that simple. It may take a while for the positive to make its face known, but if you keep your focus there, it will show up. It's a law. Going back to the picture and think about these things that fall under the left and right brain functions. Left brain functions are the male, detail-oriented, facts are king, words and languages, present and past, math and science, comprehension, knowledge, order/pattern perception. The right brain functions are female, big picture oriented, feelings are queen, imagination reigns, present and future, philosophy and spirituality, symbols and images, meaning and beliefs. Number 2, connect with your source. What's the difference between being spiritual or being religious? Religion is something that you perform on the outside of your being. It's a behavior kind of thing involving ritual, lighting candles, performing deeds, going to church, etc. Religion translates to a set of beliefs tied to a specific form of behavior, deeds, doctrines, and creeds. Spirituality is not something you can ever do or perform. You are a spiritual being. It is something that comes entirely from within and cannot be dictated to you by anyone else, no matter what anyone tries to tell you, even me. Your spirituality has nothing to do with beliefs, deeds, doctrines, or creeds. You are a spiritual being having a physical experience. Your body, your physical being, is inside your spiritual body, not the other way around. You are actually much bigger than you think you are. Where does Western religion come from then? Western religion began in about 320 AD over the other side of the globe when the Roman Emperor Constantine decided he couldn't find the movement of the Galilean anymore, so he decided to embrace his tenets combined with some paganism, and Viola, the Catholic Church, was born. This Roman emperor could no longer control what was happening, so he called for a council at Nicaea, were picked and chose to the writings that would support their control of religion. Some 25 out of 60 books decreed that Christ meant Peter to be the intersection between God and man as the first pope, and Western religion was born. 40 sacred texts were left out of this book that later became the Bible, because these texts spoke specifically to the sovereignty of the individual. This would not be acceptable when the purpose was to take your sovereignty away. They removed all but one eyewitness account of Christ's story from the Bible. The other teachings, understood to be eyewitness accounts, were written generations later. This kind of religion is about control. Most religion is about control. Controlling what you eat, where, how you dance or don't, who you marry or don't, how you worship, who you hang out with, etc. After creating this new religion, where once they had no control, they could not control the people who knew that they were immortal regardless if their physical body died, beginning in 325 AD. Now they would have that control. They would decide whether your eternal spirit went to heaven or hell. This is where religion removes your sovereignty from you. You are a divine child of the universe, and no one can take that away from you. The Hebrew slang for hell in those days was the burning trash pit outside of the city. Judaic parents used to warn their children that if they did not behave, they would send them to the outside of the city to the burning trash dump. They would send them to hell. In fact, Christ was crucified there in hell in the burning trash dump outside of the city. Hades is a Greek invention, not a Judaic or a Christian one. When the devil was created, for fear and means of control, they had to put him somewhere, so they called it hell. They combined Hades and hell. Now they had a way to control the afterlife through their religion. They gained back control of the peoples. If you do a hunt for the word devil in the Old Testament, you won't find the word. Worship is your chosen religion if it gives you pleasure to do so. But understand, what happens between you and your God, whatever name you choose to use here, has nothing whatsoever to do with religion. God is as close to you as your breath. You do not need to go to church or sit in a church or pray in a church to understand and experience that connection. Connect with your source. This is why it is so very important for everyone to connect with his or her own source. The most important person in your world must be you. There is no one who can live your life for you. So why would you consider someone else's opinion more important than yours about how to live your life, about how to connect with your source? Even in what I write for you, if it doesn't resonate with something deep within, throw it out. You and you alone are the only person fit to decide what's important to you. No one on the face of this earth is qualified to do that for you. The relationship that you have with Source is deeply personal. There is nothing hidden from Source. There is no fooling Source about how you feel. You can't lie to Source, even if you try with your own words. The very Source or the universe resides within you. The power that creates worlds and universes flows within you and through you. It is how you co-create your life. There are many ways to connect with the Source, but the easiest way is to meditate. Set aside some time every day to connect with your Source. Make it a habit, and once you hook up and recognize the feeling, it will be so much easier for you to plug in over and over again. I have found that when my temperature starts to rise, when the fear decides it wants to climb up my spine and stand amongst the hairs of my neck, that is the time to connect with Source. You can do it anywhere. All you need to do is close your eyes and breathe, focusing on that connection. If you hear things being said to you, do not ignore them. How do I know this is the real connection? There are several ways to validate your connection with Source, as well as validate the information you receive. Bottom line, Source will never intimidate you. Source always loves you deeply, completely and unconditionally. Source would never say anything that would cause you pain or cause you to hurt another, period. A lot of folks fear the spiritual relationship because they fear they'll be tricked into converting with some dark and evil influence. We've all seen The Exorcist or heard the stories told of demon possessions and such, and so they may have fears about opening up to the Source in a spiritual realm. As you may or may not know, nothing in the spiritual realm can participate you, with you, or anything you do for you to without your permission. To ensure that you are always protected in your meditations with Source, you may want to first start your meditation by asking for protection. Ask for the light to surround you and keep you safe. Invoke the names of your favorite masters, Jesus, Buddha, Mary, God, whatever you're praying to. If you pray for something, be sure to phase it as or add the line of something like at the end of the prayer before getting all the good for all concerned. Maintain a feeling of gratitude. If you can't find anything, be grateful for. Try being grateful for the fact that you're breathing and that you're alive. Whatever instructions or messages you receive from Source, they will never involve causing harm to you or anyone else. Source never condemns or judges you or anyone else. There are no expectations to this, period. Understand that Source unconditionally loves you and everyone else, and there are no conditions on that love. Maintain a sense of humility. If Source provides information to you, be sure to write whatever information you may receive into a journal and date it. Source will validate it for you somehow, some way. But if you don't write it down, you may just forget it and miss the opportunity to experience the beauty and grace the Source has to share with you, and might want to miss that validation. If Source nudges you in a certain direction, follow the intuition no matter how crazy it may seem, like driving left when you normally go right, etc. I'm not talking about doing something that causes harm. I'm talking about doing something that is out of your normal comfort zone or normal behavior pattern, something that may seem crazy or odd or different. It is in these doings that we can learn to follow our inner compass, which never steers us wrong, and learn to recognize this voice. Sometimes, when you take these little side trips, you will begin an adventure that leads you exactly where you wanted to go, but by a route you would not have imagined. Realize that no matter what, Source will not raise you above anyone else or put you below anyone else. What I mean by this is that no one is better than anyone else, period. We all come from the same source. To differentiate and stand out from Source is that from another that is something the Source will do. Source is inclusive, not exclusive. Source will never cause harm to you or anyone else. Any message that contains that kind of information is not from Source, period. When people say that God told them to do something that resulted in harm being done, I can tell you right now that that was not Source that told them to do that. Anyone who claims that Source is on their side in their holy war is not telling the truth. They're just trying to reinforce their own personal position. God or Source is in everyone and everything. Source will not fight against himself or herself. Holy wars are fought from ego, nothing else. Defending yourself is another thing altogether, but aggressively pursuing war in the name of God is, well, an act of man, not God. When you ask for harm to be done to another, you are co-creating a nightmare that eventually play out against yourself. If you do harm to another, you will wreak that same harm upon yourself eventually. What you sow, what you plant in your garden of life will yield its own fruit. Number 3, align your vibration. Align yourself with your desires, match the vibration. It may sound like a whole lot of hoo-ha stuff, this energy bit, vibrations, on the whole 9 yards, but it is not, it is real. It actually is more real than what you can see with your eyeballs. Everything in this universe is made up of energy, from the lowest amoeba to the grandest star. Energy manifests in different forms, and there is an order to it. In order for you to manifest anything, you must be able to match it. Like the glass that cannot break with a resonant frequency, you must be vibrating at the same level as the thing you want to experience. In order for the experience to show up in your life, you need to shift your perspective. This reminds me of those drawings from the 1800s of a young girl, an old woman, in one picture. It depends on how your mind sees it. It's famous perceptual illusion in which the brain switches from seeing a young girl and an old woman. It used to be called The Young Woman and the Mother-in-Law. This picture originally appeared in some puzzle and trading cards that were famous all over the world. Take a good look at this picture and force your mind to see the young woman and then the old woman. That is the picture on the left. On the right is the picture of the father and of the son. For each one of these pictures, the young person is looking off into the distance, away from each other. The young girl on the left is in a turned profile, as in the guy on the right. But if you look at them differently, you realize that the old woman has a huge nose, and the necklace of the young girl becomes her mouth, as does the top of the banana, and the young man becomes the old man's mouth. This is the illusion of life as well. What you are wanting in your life may already be in your life, but you cannot see it because you are not vibrating in resonance with it. Until you shift your perception and change your vibration, you will not experience it. This is what we're talking about when we're talking about attracting love, shifting our vibration. Meditate. One of the ways in which you may align yourself is to meditate and bring in the light. All of the great masters and great teachers, including Buddha and the Christ, have talked about coming into the light. Your spiritual being manifests in many forms and many dimensions. One of those dimensions is the dimension of light. Bringing in the light from there to here heals and aligns you. It is one of the easiest ways to begin aligning yourself to you and your desires. With the light comes information. The act of shining a light on anything will change you. Think about being in a dark room in a house you do not know. Your imagination runs wild, and every which way you look, you see shrouded images appearing with thick and mincing. By taking out your flashlight and turning it on, you see that what you are looking at, it is not something menacing, but furniture. tables, chairs, lamps, like a child, the imagination, monsters in the closet, under the bed, until you bring in the light. You can't honestly say what you see. Your mind and your emotions play tricks on you. In the darkness, your fears grow. In the light, your fears disappear as foggy mists in the wind. Light illuminates, it removes the exaggerations of your mind and allows you to see clearly. As you are part of the divine light, being a divine child of the universe, what happens to us as we grow from childhood to maturity here on earth is that our light may become diminished in areas due to limitations or restrictions we have voluntarily taken upon us. We develop a belief system that has grown and built upon resonances in the darkness. We need the light to shine upon our belief systems because most things that are built into fear in the dark cannot hold up in the light of day. When the full light of day is shone upon them, what we see are there. There is a free guided meditation that is perfect for this, channeled by Ornan through Senaya Roman. Leave your judgments at the door and download the free MP3, burn it to a disk, or import it to your MP3 player. Find a quiet space and time to shut the door, lay down in your bed, and follow along the guided meditation. You may do it more than once. This is a wonderful meditation for awakening the light within. The free meditation is entitled Orin, The Dawning of the New Light. Once you get to the page, there are actually several different free meditations there. Go to the first one, click on the green arrow, and save it to your computer. Feel free to download Oren's other meditations as well. You can believe this stuff or not, it does not matter. What matters are the results and how it makes you feel. For me, I love this meditation. It employs creative visualization techniques and a guided meditation to help you align with your own higher self or source and bring you into the light. Visualize because we are dealing with energy. The subconscious mind does not distinguish between what is externally real or not. These techniques can work. Scientifically, they have been proven the subconscious mind makes you no distinction to the signals it receives between events imagined or experiences. In other words, whether you are imagining something or experiencing something, the subconscious mind cannot tell the difference. It is the same thing to it. That is why creative visualization with emotion can significantly impact you attracting something into your life. If you can not only imagine it, but feel it as if it were real, then your subconscious mind begins to experience that as a reality and works to make it real in your life. Your thought married to your emotion through the tool of visualization, sending out the boomerang into the universe to bring you back to what you ultimately desire. The subconscious or the unconscious mind is the secret force behind all of your desires. It is here in this place that your internal map of reality is based on, and from here your subconscious mind, your dreams into reality. Detach. Now that you've planted those seeds, and you can do a little bit of that every day and let them go, like seeds you planted in the garden. You must let them do their own thing. You cannot keep going back to it and digging it up and say it's not working. That's right, if you're doing that, it will not work. It can't. Detaching is the hardest part for a lot of people. You simply need to let it go. Yes, you want your desire, but you need to let it go as well. Because you experience the fullness of what you want as if you had it already. For now, this must be enough. Don't work yourself into a frenzied state. Don't worry about it, it will come. As long as you have no blocks to it coming. As long as you don't have any counter intentions working against you. This is where faith comes in. And when you try this whole process out on little things, when it works, it serves to reinforce the techniques in your own life. Number 4, remove your blocks. In this course of living our lives, we develop belief patterns and responses to life that are automatic. Most of these beliefs we have acquired from our caregivers, other family members, friends, teachers, and other such people in our lives. There are many programs to removing the unconscious blocks in our life and to help us attract love. One of the first things we need to start with is learning to love and accept ourselves deeply, completely, unabashedly, and unconditionally. Most people have huge self-esteem issues. To help you with these issues, check out this wonderful program here. The self-esteem system. There's a link to it. Go find this book, you guys. It's a good read. This site belongs to Dr. Joe Rubiano, and he is the best system to build your self-esteem at the site, and you can receive by providing your email. You guys, just email me, and I will send you a link to this free ebook if you're interested. Um, okay. Another program that helps you love and accept yourself deeply and unconditionally, is a program called Emotional Freedom Technique, or EFT, started by Gary Craig. This system employs the use of the techniques of Chinese acupuncture only without the needles, by tapping on the meridian points instead of injecting a needle, while saying key emotionally loaded phrases. This system works hands down. It can help with weight and health issues, relationship issues, wealth and financial issues, basically just about everything that you can think of. It's called the Emotional Freedom Technique. Gary has since retired, but I have included a link to Brad Yates' site, a professional EFT coach, on his website. He provides many free resources. If you work with an EFT professional, you can actually speed the process up, as oftentimes they can see things above ourselves that we cannot. Those of us who have undergone traumatic childhoods laden with abuse, physical, emotional, and sexual, have unique issues to address. I feel that if you can work with an EFT professional, you can rid yourself of some of these issues in a few short sessions instead of years on a therapy couch. With serious issues, please seek the aid of a medical or psychiatric professional. Number 5, attract love. Unconditional love. This is the highest expression of love. This is the love associated with the Christ. It's a love that gives without expectation of return. It is a love that exists unconditionally without reason. If your parents' love felt conditional to you, then you have some unlearning to do. Experience is this kind of love. This is where working with a program to release and where you to accept yourself completely and unconditionally is something to look into if you have no idea what this kind of love is. Most people list this as the third and highest love. I list it as first. It is this love that one must first come to embrace in oneself in order to attract the love into one's life. It is the first love. It is the love from which all creation springs, and it is from this place that your greatest creation began. You could say that love is the first cause, and everything that we perceive through our five senses and feelings, vibrations, exists because of this first cause, unconditional love. Unconditional love. Most people can't even wrap their heads around this. What is hard for them to reconcile is that they believe that experiencing unconditional love means that you have to become a doormat, roll over, and whisper, I love you to everyone, even if they are punching you in the face. No, that is not true. Nature, our Mother Earth, the female expression of the God Source energy, what our mothers are in the deepest beings, but maybe couldn't share with us, is a supreme example of this unconditional love. The wind blows upon the beggar, and the rich man alike, with no care for their seeming disparities at opposite ends of the stick. This wind can also be a tornado that rips apart your house, or it can caress you with a soft breeze. Its presentation to you is one of authentic being unconditionally expressing. Nature ultimately expresses what it knows, that we will not allow ourselves to see. Energy never dies. We never die. We never transform, but we do not die. That is why a seal can sail into the mouth of a killer whale, or a gazelle can surrender to the bite of the lion. The killer whale doesn't seek the seal because it's mad at it, or hates it, or because it doesn't like the way it was raised by its parents, or because it was abused, but rather from the simple nature of its being. And in nature, nothing dies, it just changes form. The seal becomes the food that powers the whale. A tree doesn't base its behavior on weather, nor would you do that because you were told to. It is there for shade, warmth, beauty, and it can provide shelter from the storm, and by its profound and stately existence, it keeps us breathing fresh air. Nature's being exists in unconditional love. If you could but find a way to tune into that vibration, you would know of that which I speak. There are special places upon this earth where one can go and tune into this energy, this vibration, this complete and utter acceptance and authenticity of being. Places in nature where no one else is a good place to start. If you go camping for the weekend with your family and take a few minutes alone, then you walk away from the crowd and you find a quiet place and just sit with nature, get comfortable wherever you are, beach, mountains, desert or plains, lush valley or barren hilltop, rushing river or babbling brook. Whatever it is that you find yourself, sit quietly, tune out your head. In fact, turn it off by listening to the sounds of nature. After you sit for a few moments, open yourself up from your heart center. What I mean is for you to close your eyes to feel this place in nature with your heart. If you could take just a few minutes of doing this, you would be amazed at the unconditional love that you experience. This is love that makes everything grow. It simply hums all around us. It is in the lazy buzzing of the bees as they transit flower to flower, the loud squawking of a terrestrial woodpecker as it flutters tree to tree, the jubilant cry of the red-tailed hawk as it rides the updrafts higher, or the lonely howl of the wolf as it signs in the night. It is in the gentle sighing of trees as they shed their summer burden of leaves in the fall, and in the rhythmic crash of the ocean waves on a sandy shore. It rides upon the trails of clouds, dancing across the summer sky, or in the dark, rich smell of a good lull. You can see it in the smile of a flower, or in the heart of a brand new baby's cry. Unconditional love is the basis of our own beings, and it exists deep within you. It is the energy that keeps our atoms from drifting apart. It is the energy that holds the stars in place and the planets in orbit around them. Unconditional love is the basis for everything, and if we can tap into that, well, then problem solved. Friendship. The name of the city, friendship equals philo. The name of the city, Philadelphia, has its roots in the word. This is the term for the brotherly love, and it is based upon giving and receiving. Each of the people involved give and receive love together. This is the second form of love. Erotic love is eros. This kind of love you will find on the movie screen. It is this love that results in hot and fiery sexual expression. Unfortunately, in our day and time, most people experience this separately from the first two loves. While you can experience physical satisfaction with this type of experience, the pleasure only lasts as long as the activity. It's like eating stale crackers that may momentarily keep hunger at bay, but it does not ultimately feed you. An hour later, you find yourself hungry again. That's why I list agape or unconditional love first. To attract love, you start there. Sure, you can put on a new face and you go hang out at the local joint, but that won't teach you anything about attracting love into your love. I think they meant live. What you might attract is a whole host of problems and a sexually transmitted disease. So, how do I attract love? Let's start with being in a relationship first. Maybe you think you need to look outside your relationship for love. That may be true if you are living with an abusive person who emotionally, mentally, or physically torments you. The first thing you need to do is to get the hell out of there. If you want to attract love, it isn't going to happen with someone who is using you as their dumping ground. I will guarantee you that. Not unless some miracle occurs, and they can, but generally these type of folks, well, they need to be left to their own devices. The way you attract love is to love yourself first, unconditionally and completely. And that means do no harm to you. If you are in a harmful relationship, as mentioned above, then love yourself first and do something to get you out of there. Quit being the victim. I know it sounds easier than done, and you're wasting your life if you're wanting to receive unconditional love from someone else who abuses you. Unless a miracle occurs and changes everything, if you've been hanging around or waiting for the love to bloom, your garden has been invaded by star thistles. Get the hell out. You have a healing to do. You attract love by loving yourself first. When you love yourself first, you are telling the universe that you are worth loving. Everything the universe brings you will mirror that love to you. Since the universe is unconditional, it always mirrors your deepest feelings about yourself. Always, without fail. That is why it is imperative to love yourself first, so that what it mirrors is love. What if you're in a relationship that already started with love, but the sizzle has left you with dry toast? Being in a relationship can be trying at times, and oftentimes we forget the reason we were together to begin with. We forget how we fell in love and what attracted us to our partner. Ultimately, the people in our lives are a reflection of the love we hold for ourselves. This is mostly assuredly so in love relationship between two people we have agreed to co-join or become partners by the male and male, female and female, or male and female. For those of you who are in a relationship already, one of the things to remember is that the person you are with is a reflection of you. They are a reflection of your deepest fears and your deepest loves. In other words, if you point your finger at them and complain about the things that they do, I can guarantee that what you are complaining about are some of your biggest issues. One of the ways that you can bring the more love into your life with your partner is to 1. Make a list of all the things you appreciate about your partner, about writing down 5 to 10 things you appreciate every day. Think and meditate on these things. Detach from the issues that you dislike. Leave them sit a while. Practice expressing unconditional love to your partner. Instead of fighting for control of the conversation, listen. Give to yourself what you think you need from your partner. Don't make your partner responsible for your happiness. Take charge of your own happiness. Just glow with the flow. Quit fighting what the universe brings you. Leave judgment at the door. Don't make your partner responsible for your emotional or sexual satisfaction. Give your partner room to express themselves authentically and express yourself authentically. What most people simply don't understand is that our partner is a reflection of love that we have for ourselves. Once you have a healthy love going for yourself, the world starts treating you as you wish to be treated, and that includes your partner. To attract love doesn't require a relationship. Attracting love in your life isn't always just about being in a relationship. There are many ways to receive love, from family, friends, pets, and the universe. Attracting love starts first with you. You attract love by being loved. When you begin to accept yourself completely and unconditionally, you will find that the whole world loves you. The universe will begin serving up to you green lights and great parking places and synchronicious events that lead to moments filled with unconditional and heartfelt experiences. Love from your family, friends, and your pets, and everywhere we go. We'll find the kindness and collaboration in a stranger's smile, the synchronicity of things coming our way, like a book we want to read or a movie we've been waiting to see. How these things occur in our lives is because we love ourselves first and foremost. It is with love that our desires are able to unfold in our life. We learn to love ourselves enough so that feeling good is our prime concern. This doesn't mean feeling good at the expense of others. It means feeling good regardless of what others do or say. Here's one of many daily quotes that I received from Abraham Hicks, and this right now is extremely appropriate. We are really advocates of just getting as happy as you can be, which takes care of everything. Even if you don't have reason to be happy, make it up. Fantasize it. Make a decision that you're going to be happy one way or another. No matter what, I'm going to be happy. If I have to ignore everybody, if I have to never watch television again, if I have to never pick up a newspaper again, I am going to be happy. If I never have to see that person's face ever again, then I'm going to be happy about it. If I have to see that person's face, I'm going to find something to see in that person's face that makes me happy. I am going to be happy. I'm going to be happy. I am going to be happy. When you get to this place where you love yourself unconditionally and completely, then if you so desire, you can attract a soulmate into your life. Attracting a soulmate. So you've decided you want to attract a soulmate. You're up and running. You love yourself completely, deeply, and unconditionally. If you have not started this part of the process, I can guarantee that while you may attract someone into your life, it may not end up as an ideal relationship. Bottom line, to have a person in your life that is your soulmate requires you to deeply and completely love and accept yourself first. The reason is that our soulmate is a mirror, as is everyone in our lives, of how we feel about ourselves. The entire external world is a mirror or how we feel about ourselves. So let's do a quick recap. These steps actually work for anything we can manifest in our life, not just love. Connect with our source, release our blocks, love ourselves deeply and unconditionally, define our desire, marry our thought with emotion for our desire, align our vibration, feel as if you have it already, live in gratitude and appreciation. For me, how I drew my soulmate to me was pretty simply. First off, I've been maintaining my relationship with Source for as long as I can remember. This was not something new to me. I'd made a statement to the universe about loving myself deeply and unconditionally because I'd left an abusive relationship behind. I said, no, I'm going to love myself deeply, completely, and unconditionally. No more of this kind of stuff for me. I've also been working with the universe for a long time on releasing the blocks I knew about. There would be more. This is something we must maintain on a day-to-day basis. Because I had such a hard time in my last relationship, I decided that I would not get stuck like that again. I decided that I needed to define not only the good qualities, but also the bad qualities that I could live with, and the bad qualities I would not live with. Since I understand that this place we live, here on earth, is fraught with dualities, those in essence our spirit lives beyond the plane of dualities, for example, negative, positive, black and white, day and night, yin and yang, etc. I thought it imperative that I define it all, and not leave the shadow aspects hiding out there somewhere to waylay me on my road to happiness. It's not the good stuff that we ever have issues with in this life. It's the bad stuff that pops up and gives us the problems. The same applies to a mate. So I decided that if I defined the negative as well, that might help. When it boils down to it, you may find an ideal mate, but if they have an annoying habit, or two or three, that you just can't live with, well, isn't it better to define what you're willing to live with first? So I took a piece of paper and I wrote down the positive qualities in which I was interested in a mate. Then I wrote down the negative qualities. I did not want. What this did was allow me to make a final list of qualities that I could appreciate in a mate. For instance, while I love music to the ninth degree, hardcore, country, twangy music is just not my thing. So I added to my list that a soulmate would love the kind of music that I love, specifically indicating that my mate would not like twangy country music. Don't use the words not or no on the list because the universe source doesn't see these words or experience that at all. The universe only says yes, so remember that when you write your statements out on the positive qualities, write it in a manner that when you hear a yes after it, it is something you are interested in having show up in your life, as an example of two different phrases off the list. He likes all music except hardcore rap and country music. Yes, this works. He likes all music, not country music and hardcore rap. Yes, this is how the universe would see that statement. He likes all music, country music, and hardcore rap. The universe does not see not or no. So you have to come up with a way to write your list that doesn't incorporate those words, but defines the attribute you are looking for. So you write your list of qualities, then you do a ritual with it in some fashion, a releasing as it were, give it back to the universe, and when you have gotten it to the universe, don't go back and try to pack it up again and release to the universe means just that, a release. If you give something away, do you go back, try, and get it back? No, giving it away means just that. You must give it the list to the universe. After I wrote my list, within 90 days, I had met, or re-met, I should say, my soulmate. But I don't take the list out and look at it or redefine it. I detached from it, letting the universe do its work. There's a subtle dance that goes on with our desires, dancing with them, visualizing, loving them, and feeling them as if they were the present in our life, while at the same time holding a sense of detachment about it all. This doesn't mean don't take action when you feel led to do so. It just means letting the universe do its thing. Your part is to desire, feel it, love it, and let it go. The universe always says yes. All in all, the universe always says yes, no matter what. If you find that what you seek is not showing up in your life, it is because you are not in tune with it. You are not in alignment with it. Your vibrations are disordinate to it, like a horn that plays flat notes while every other instrument is in the orchestra playing on tune. To join the band, play your instrument in sync with it. If you find yourself not feeling good, feel disordered, crybaby out of sorts, disgruntled, frustrated, or any other sort of negative emotion, this means you are not in vibration with what you desire. On the other hand, if you are feeling up and positive, feelings abound, then you are in harmony and in vibrational alignment with your desire. It is that simple. Number 6, in conclusion, the universe loves and adores you and provides you with what you ask for on a daily basis. If what is showing up in your life is not what you desire, then you need to look at the life that you live from the inside out. Everything starts within. As you only have the lens of you to view this world with at the moment, then maybe you need to clean the lens. Maybe it's time to let go of those things that no longer serve you. Maybe it's time to revisit your belief structures, release, and forgive those people who have caused you pain. Learn to love yourself deeply and completely. Find things that make you happy in life and pursue these with vigor. No stalking allowed. Maybe you just need to sit down and take a good long look at yourself. There's an old Indian saying that I love, only you can live your life. No one can do that for you. I will leave you with this from Stephen King's Shawshank Redemption. Get busy living or get busy dying.